Hi, I'm Emily Henderson, and this is a bedtime yoga class, something to feel really grounded and calm before going to sleep or taking a shower before bed or anything like that. So we will be using a lot of different props. We'll use blocks, a blanket, and a bolster. If you don't have a bolster, I'll show you an option that you can do with the blanket and the blocks. So we'll start in a comfortable seat, but we're actually going to cross the right leg outside of the left to start. We will do the other side, so if it's not your norm, it's okay. We'll settle in on the other side as well. Closing the eyes for a moment and coming back to your breath. The focus of this class is to really let go and bring the attention to the present moment and calming yourself down. So letting go of anything that happened today or anything that's happening tomorrow and just focusing on your breath. Something that I like to do during my bedtime yoga practice is almost think of using the breath as like counting sheep. So inhaling for maybe 2 or 3 counts and exhaling for 2 or 3 counts. And if that feels comfortable, you can obviously add on. But just using that repetition and the counting to really slow down and focus the mind so that you can really go internally and get the most benefit out of this. We'll take one more breath here, inhaling through the nose and exhaling out the mouth. Blinking the eyes open. Placing the hands on the knees, we'll move into some circles. So inhale as you come forward and exhale as you come back. Taking this at whatever pace feels best in your body. And if you'd like to get the neck involved, you can gently look up as you come forward and tuck the chin to the chest as you come back. You can also keep the chin slightly tucked the whole time if looking up doesn't feel good in your body. And when you're ready, transitioning to make the circles in the opposite direction. Moving slowly, noticing how it feels in the lower back, the hips, and even in the heart center when you come forward. Coming up to a stillness in your seat again, we'll place the right hand on the right knee. The left hand comes slightly outside of the left knee, and we'll turn and have a forward fold. It's not as much of a twist as it is just leaning over the left leg. You can apply a little bit of pressure to that right knee, but it doesn't need to be anything super hard. It's just assisting the knee down towards the earth. Inhale, lengthening the spine here. And as you exhale, releasing down towards the mat. Repeating that again. Inhale, lengthening the spine. And exhale, releasing. Gently coming up through center. And we'll move into a forward fold. You can walk the hands forward if you'd like. Maybe just slightly leaning forward is enough in your hips. You can walk the hands a little bit deeper, maybe even forearms here. We're releasing the chin to the chest completely, closing the eyes if that feels good for you right now. And using the breath to calm any sensations that may come up in the hips or the body. Gently walking the hands back in through center. We'll switch sides. So now crossing the left foot outside of the right. Hands will come on to the knees and moving into those circles, starting in either direction here, because we'll switch midway through. Again, syncing the breath up with the movement. Inhale as you come forward and exhale as you come back. And switching the directions of your circles when you're ready, taking your time. Again, this is just for calming down, so really moving slowly. There's no rush at all. Finishing up your last circle and coming through center. The left hand will rest on the left knee. The right hand comes outside of the right knee, slightly twisting and then leaning forward. Using the breath here, inhale, halfway lift. We lead with the spine and exhale, release. Repeating that again. Inhale, lift. And exhale, release. Last time, inhale. And exhale, folding forward. Our next inhale brings us up through center. And we move towards that forward fold again. Taking your time here and walking the hands forward. It might feel a little bit tighter on this side, or maybe it's a little more open, but just noticing without attaching any judgment or expectation to where the stretch is at right now. Releasing the chin to the chest wherever you are. And then slowly coming up through center. We'll roll over onto hands and knees for a little bit of cat and cow. Bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, the knees underneath the hips. Inhale, opening the heart, leading with the spine. As you exhale, rounding the spine, pushing through the hands and knees. Inhale, leading with the heart, opening. And exhale, rounding the spine. Taking 3 more rounds here at your own pace. If you have something that's a ritual that you do in cat and cow, feel free to do that here, maybe shifting side to side, using the neck, rolling the hips out, whatever you'd like. And slowly we'll place the hips back towards the heels, extending the legs out in front of us. Coming into a seated forward fold, we'll bend the left knee, pulling the knee towards the center, and the foot rests on the right thigh. Inhale, raising the arms up. And as we exhale, release, forward fold. You may have heard me say this in other videos, but you don't have to reach towards the toes. When we do that, the shoulders get really hiked up. We want the shoulders to be relaxed here. And leading with the heart and the stomach, but then as we release the chin to the chest, we do that without letting the shoulders completely roll forward. If this feels really tight, you can always come up and place a blanket under your hips as well, making it a little more accessible in your body. Walking the hands back up, we'll switch sides, extending the left leg long, keeping the right leg bent in. Inhale, raising the arms, again, letting the arms fall wherever they land. Noticing if one side feels a little bit tighter or more open than the other. And in the future, if you notice that one side's really tight, you can always do that side first and stay there a little bit longer. Slowly walking your hands back up. Moving into a wide-legged forward fold, I like to turn sideways on my mat just because it gives a little cushion for the heels, but you can totally have the heels off the mat if that feels good for you. We're going to use some props here. So I like to use blocks here, and I'll show you a couple different ways that you can use the blocks. If you slightly tilt forward, you can have the hands on the blocks, maybe even the forearms. If you feel really open today, you can even use the blocks and have the head rest on something. Or if you don't have blocks, you can just simply lean forward using the hands as support. We will be here for a little bit longer than the other poses because we're really trying to release into the hips and the inner thighs. With every inhale, you can lengthen the spine. And as you exhale, releasing the head. Inhale, lengthening. And exhale, release. If at any point you need to adjust the blocks or make any movements, feel free. Making sure that the knees and the toes are pointing towards the ceiling versus letting the toes and knees roll in. Really finding openness and external rotation in the hips. Walking the hands back in. We'll remove the blocks and come to one of my favorite lower back stretches. Leaving the right leg where it is, we'll bend the left knee and bring it into the inner thigh. On this stretch, it has a bunch of different variations, so find which one works best for you. We'll start by inhale, raising the arms, And as we exhale, the right arm releases onto the leg or inside of the leg. This right shoulder is completely relaxed. The left hand starts on the lower back. So oftentimes when we get into these stretches, we think we need to reach the head towards the ground, but the main focus here is to actually open that left shoulder towards the ceiling, opening the heart, and then releasing the head after that. So the breath, inhale, we open the heart, and exhale, we release towards the leg. If this feels okay in your body and you want to try something else, you can place the left fingertips on the side of the head. If you arrive and that doesn't serve your shoulder, bring the hand back to the lower back. Again, inhale, opening that left shoulder towards the ceiling, and exhale, releasing towards the leg. Another option is to reach those fingertips towards the toes, but we want to avoid having that left shoulder reach towards the ear. We want the shoulder to really release away from the ear. And again, if the side of the head or the lower back serves you more, feel free to try that. Closing the eyes and finding your breath. Inhale, we spiral the heart towards the ceiling. Exhale, we release the torso towards the leg. We're going to come out of this really slowly, so release that top arm wherever it is first. Walk the hands in, and then the head and neck are the last pieces to arrive. And then switching sides, taking your time to make that transition. So now where the right leg is bent, the left leg is long. We'll inhale, raising the arms. And now the left arm releases, the right arm starts on the lower back. Even if you did the over the head on the other side, start with the lower back so you can ease into the stretch because it does get really intense. Inhale, we'll open the heart towards the ceiling, and exhale, release towards the leg. Repeating that a few more times, opening the heart, and exhale, releasing. If you'd like to try bringing those fingertips to the side of the head, feel free. If you want to, you can open that chest towards the ceiling and release. Again, you can bring the hands back to the lower back if that feels better for you. Relaxing that left shoulder as much as possible. This left arm is just hanging out. Then if you'd like to, that right fingertips can reach towards the toes, but again, we're not trying to reach for the toes and compromising our alignment. We're really opening the heart and then just releasing the torso towards the ground. If you feel any strain in the shoulder, come back to the head or the lower back though. Gently releasing that top arm down, walking the hands in. Again, the head and neck are the last pieces to arrive here. Awesome. We'll take pigeon pose next. There's a ton of different ways that people like to get into this pose. For me, I like to go from hands and knees. Some people prefer downward facing dog. If you know that pigeon is tight, bring a block with you so that we can have that as an option. So from hands and knees, we'll step the left foot back and step that left shin towards the wrists. And then walk that left knee back. If you arrive and you're here and it feels a little bit tight, we'll place this block right under that right hip. You can also use a folded blanket or anything you'd like, and then release down. If you don't need the block, you can simply release the hips towards the ground, finding the forearms on the ground. Another good use for a block in pigeon is to place it under the head, or you can even place the forearms on the block if you want to bring the ground a little bit higher. So finding your pose, using whatever props you'd like, and let yourself settle in. Using the breath to calm any sensations that arise in the body. I've heard a lot from many teachers that we tend to hold a lot of emotion in our hips. So if emotions are arising or anything's coming up, come back to that counting breath, using that to calm the body down and really let the self sink into this stretch. We'll take one more breath here, inhaling and exhale, sighing it out. Inhale, we'll walk the hands back up and gently pushing up onto that left foot, placing the right knee down and taking a cat and cow between sides. Inhale, we'll open the heart, and exhale, we'll round the spine. Shifting side to side, doing whatever you'd like here. Then now we'll extend the left foot back behind, stepping that right shin forward. And if you couldn't see it on the other side, you can place a block under the hip. That's a really nice option. Or again, you can use a folded up blanket if you're feeling like the hips don't want to come all the way to the ground. And then walking the hands forward and finding your pigeon pose. Maybe the forearms are down. You can even stack the fists, giving the head something to rest on. There's tons of different options here, and it's kind of fun to try out which ones work best for your body. Whenever I practice pigeon pose, I always think of the quote by BKS Iyengar that when the yogi is ready to come out of the stretch, that's when the stretch and yoga truly begin. So when you're sitting here and thinking, all right, I'm over it, it's pigeon pose, that's totally normal. But see if you can breathe through that and find calmness even when there maybe is a little bit of discomfort in the body. One more breath here, inhaling through the nose and sighing out the mouth. Bringing the hands back up and then coming back to hands and knees, making any movements that you like, taking a cat and cow to let the shoulders and hips come back to center. And then sit the hips back, rolling off to either side, and we'll come to a seat. This is, I guess, my second favorite pose, since my other favorite pose is the lower back stretch. So this is deer pose. For this, I'm going to use a bolster, but if you don't have a bolster at home, you can simply use 2 blocks stacked like this with a blanket resting over top of them. It's a really nice option. Or you can always just roll up a bunch of blankets if you don't have any blocks. So in this pose, we're stretching the hips, the lower back, and the neck. So we'll start by bringing the left hip up to the bolster, and then the left foot is, both legs are bent. The left foot is close to the thigh as well as the right foot is close to the thigh. When you arrive in this pose, if it doesn't feel comfortable, you can always open up the feet a little bit to find a little bit more depth or comfort. We'll frame the bolster with both hands and then slowly walk the hands down, laying down on the bolster. You can look towards the knees or you can look away from the knees. Wherever you decide to rest, make any adjustments that you need because we will be here for a few minutes, just making sure we really get into this stretch. So when you arrive, closing the eyes and allowing gravity to do the work here. If you notice that there's effort in the shoulders, the toes, the face, see if you can let go a little bit more. And I'll give you about a minute here to just witness and explore your breath. Again, if the breath is getting shorter, try to lengthen it. Sometimes when we twist, the breath feels a little constricted, but see if you can find a deeper breath here. And then slowly to come out of this pose, we'll walk the hands back and then push up slowly. And what I like to do is I just simply roll onto my back and take a second laying down on the bolster. Rolling the head side to side. Maybe the arms fall out to the sides. Notice how the left hip and back feel. And then when you're ready, pushing up, and we'll switch sides. You can simply bring the right hip to the bolster, but I'm gonna move around so that you can see it on this side. So now the right hip comes up to the bolster. Both legs are bent. I've seen people before place the right foot underneath, but it gets a little wonky with the hip. So bringing the right foot outside of the left knee. And then bring the bolster up to the hip. Placing both hands down, we'll inhale, lengthen the spine. And then as you exhale, release down onto the bolster. Again, you can turn the head towards the knees or away, but keeping it consistent with the other side. So if you had the head towards the knees, keep it that way on this side as well. Maybe closing the eyes, allowing yourself to really sink in here. Again, making any adjustments that you need to get really comfortable, because we will be here for another minute. See if you can use the breath as though it is internal background music. When we really listen to the breath, it can sound like the ocean or a soft shh, like a hum. See what it sounds like inside of your head. Using it to soothe you within the stretch. We'll take one more breath here, inhaling through the nose and exhale, sighing it out. Again, pushing up through the hands. We'll just roll onto the back, releasing down, letting the arms open, noticing how it feels in the lower back and the hips. Also notice your mind. Maybe it's a little bit calmer, and maybe not, that's okay. But we're just noticing. To come out of this, we'll bring the hands by the side and we'll push ourselves up to a seat. And then you can simply remove any props from behind you and come laying down on your back. Bringing the knees to touch, we'll walk the feet out to the edge of the mat. This is a really nice release for the SI joint in the lower back. Feeling all the parts of your body that are on the ground. The feet, the hips, the shoulder blades, the elbows, and the head. Then when you're ready, extending your legs long, and arms will come down by the sides. And we'll take a body scan here. So starting with the crown of your head, see if you can let go of anything there. Letting the eyebrows completely relax. The ears, the jaw, the mouth are completely at ease. Making any adjustments in the shoulders so that the shoulders really have space from the ears. The upper arms, the forearms, and even the fingers let go. Noticing if you're holding the belly at all, really let it fill up with each inhale and release with the exhale. Allowing the natural arch of the lower spine, letting the hips feel really heavy in the ground. The thighs sink in deeper. The knees and the shins are completely relaxed. And letting the toes and ankles fall outwards. Noticing the bottoms of the feet as well. And as you witness the sensations in the body, allow that witnessing to happen and then release it. If the attention is drawn to a specific spot in the body, again, notice that and then let it go. Simply focus on the breath. And as we settle into our Shavasana, you can feel free to grab any props if you'd like. Sometimes placing a knee or a blanket under the knees is nice, or a blanket over the hips or chest. Really get comfortable here so you can fully let go. Gently bringing your attention back to your breath. Noticing where your mind is at. Know that this place that we've arrived at together is always accessible because it came from within you. All I was here for was guidance, but your breath and your body allowed you to come to this space, meaning it is always available no matter what is going on in life. Because this feeling, this calmness is you. Gently wiggling the toes and fingers, even rolling the head from side to side. And as you're ready, extending your arms overhead, feeling that full body stretch, bending the knees, and we'll roll over onto our left side. Taking a moment to rest here, using the left upper arm as a pillow for the head. Pushing through your right hand, keeping the eyes closed, and using as little energy as possible to come up to a comfortable seated position. We'll place our right hand over our hearts and our left hand over that. And take a moment of gratitude for a few things in your life. Maybe it's something really simple that happened today. Maybe it's loved ones. When you find those things that you're grateful for, take a moment to include yourself. Rubbing the hands across the heart, maybe bringing a smile to your face. We'll bring the hands together, palms touching in front of the heart. Always know that the light within me is so honored and proud to witness the vibrant and unique light within each of you. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me this evening. If you enjoyed this, feel free to subscribe to the channel, and also you can check out YOGATX.org to subscribe to our newsletter. You'll find out about the new videos that we post and everything like that. If you'd like to see more of me, I have an Instagram that's EmilyHenderson_yoga, and I also have a Facebook page that's Emily Henderson Yoga ATX for all the things that I'm doing around Austin. I hope you have a great sleep, and thank you so much. Good night.